Hey, thanks for joining me. I'm Brandon, and today we are going to be walking through a Tiffin Wayfarer. My first time to really walk through one and really take a look at it. Now, as a leisure travel van owner, I'm always looking through other RVs through the lens as an LTV owner, seeing what is different, seeing what is better, seeing what is worse. And so I will give you my thoughts on this Tiffin Wayfarer. I did a video a few weeks ago basically about alternatives to leisure travel vans because it's a 2 to 5 year waiting list for a leisure travel van depending on which make and model you want. Now then, I say get started today and get whatever you can. Even if you order a leisure travel van, get on a 2, 3, 4 year waiting list. Get something today that you can either trade in when yours comes in or sell it, whatever you can, but don't just sit there and wait. Time is too short. So I have looked at Winnebago Views, Winnebago Echo, Airstream Atlas, and now this is a Tiffin Wayfarer, all in the same exact class. Marketing says they're a B+. They're actually a very small Class C RV. So let's go in, take a look at it, and I'll tell you what I like and what I don't. And I will say, on the Tiffin website does not give you any pricing at all, so I jumped on rvtrader.com and it looks like new you can get them for about $160,000. But let's jump into this Tiffin Wayfarer, then I will give you my thoughts, and then at the end I'll tell you the one thing where I say don't buy a Tiffin Wayfarer because of this. But anyway, let's jump in right now. Okay, so let's jump right into this Tiffin Wayfarer. Now, the one thing you're going to notice right off the bat is the Tiffin Wayfarer sits up way higher than the leisure travel van. And so where you're really going to see this is in your bay doors. And so when you open this bay door, which opens right to left instead of up and down like the leisure. Now, let's pause it for a second because I want to talk about this bay door. So the Wayfarer is going to have way larger outdoor storage than the leisure travel van right off the bat. Now, where this really doesn't matter is wait till I tell you what the OCCC is, which is occupant and cargo carrying capacity. And then you're going to see that you can basically just fill these up with foam and not a lot of stuff. So, but you'll also see right now that this does have the Xantrex 2000 watt inverter. Not sure what the batteries have, but again, they also have a light that turns on. So Tiffin puts in a little extra touches that leisure doesn't there. I do like these bay doors, just wish they had a bigger OCC. So whenever you climb up the stairs, again, you're going to have at least minimally one more step to climb up into a Wayfarer than a leisure. Now then, Wayfarers build their top cap. Leisure doesn't. It's a little bit lower to the ground, even up front externally. Going to be a little bit better as far as aerodynamics go as well, but there is a bed up there. Now then, with that larger, that step down to the cab is a lot lower. We'll get into the cab here in a second. But overall, I think the build of the Wayfarer is fantastic. I mean, Tiffin is known for their cabinet shop, and so you're not going to have any trouble. Theater seating, great seating right there, and if you'll notice, they have lagoon tables or the lagoon settings for a lagoon table. On both sides of those couches, as well as that theater seating. And then as you look over to your kitchen, to your wardrobe, not a lot of wardrobe space in that thin cabinet there to the right. We'll open that in a second, but that does serve as your closet. One thing I love about the Wayfarer are they using this Norcold all-electric refrigerator, same refrigerator we have in our Airstream, and it works fantastic. Convection microwave oven, as is typical. And also what I like about the Wayfarer is they have this type of propane, the grates system on there, which I think is fantastic. Better than the leisure, again, both made by Dometic, and then a little power bank there with some USBs. That's very clever. Now, here's the thing. The same size sink as the leisure travel van. They also have these heavy Corian covers, which the Pagosa Supply Co. Sink covers, bamboo and white, do fit there, so that's positive. They do have ducted air conditioning, which I do think is important for you to be able to cool down your coach the best you can. So let's open up some of these drawers, and here is your wardrobe. As you can see, it does have a light. I love that. Leisure, you taking notice? Please put lights in your cabinets because everybody else is. However, that is not a lot of wardrobe space. You do sacrifice a bit of storage, indoor storage, with the Wayfarer in this particular floor plan anyway. But overall, the kitchen, the refrigerator, is a little bit larger than the Leisure's. Kick over here and you'll see that you do have this sofa as well as your Murphy bed. Now the Murphy bed does slide down there. It does have a Firefly system, looks like. Now then, I will say this, these theater seats are as comfortable as anything you will have in your home. They actually almost recline down to level. These were absolutely fantastic. I actually found the same exact setup in a $500,000 Allegro bus by Tiffin. So they're putting in some great furniture in these Wayfarers. So they are definitely not scrimping there. Now then, let's go back to the bathroom. Shower is, well, I mean, it's not quite the same quality as a Leisure as far as the floor felt a little flimsy, whereas in my shower floor, it is rock solid. Not that this is bad, it just was different. And then if you didn't notice, I hired Brad Pitt to film all of my videos. So big shout out to Brad, thank you. But anyway, the bathroom seemed a pretty good size. This little pedestal sink gives you a little bit more cabinet space instead of an inset sink. And then it is a porcelain toilet, which is always good at this price point, not plastic. Interesting angle they set it out. But anyway, 2 televisions, some good entertainment space. I will say, let's pause it for a second. That couch to the left, I sat on it. That is not comfortable at all. As you can see, it sits straight up. It's really there as a bonus, and I think you'll be sitting in those theater seats way more than you'll be sitting in that couch. But I do like the fact that they put a couch there where they do put the slide out. Now, this is a full body slide, so it is going to be very heavy. But let's jump over to the cab and see exactly what that is like, because it's obviously very similar to a leisure travel van because it's sitting on the same exact Sprinter chassis. So the biggest change that Tiffin has over Leisure, let's pause it right there, is they keep the factory leather from Mercedes on their driver and passenger seats. I personally don't like this because our leisure travel van has the ultra leather that matches the house, plus ultra leather doesn't get hot. I think this right here will totally burn your legs in the summertime because that cab does get hot. Now then, that is a positive of Leisure and a negative for Tiffin, I personally believe. But let's take a look again at that drop off because it is significant. Now, it appears to me that that is larger than even a typical step. So I do think that is a good drop off. Leisure puts in the ramp, and even before, in hours before they put in that ramp, it is not near as much as a drop off. I do believe this could be a trip hazard, so keep that in mind as well. But let's go to the outside and take a look. I showed you that front storage compartment. Now this, I thought it was a storage compartment, but it is their propane tank. Looks like you could store, man, you can't really store anything in there, so that's a kind of a disappointment. And then around here, they have a giant wet bay. But again, they're putting lights in these things. Leisure, I like the lights. So anyway, the Leisure's wet bay is not near as large and in charge. This would be absolutely great to change that water pump, to change those filters. So it does give you the extra room. But again, I feel like I do have a ton of outdoor storage, even though it's not as tall as this. Now then, I did not crawl under this slide to look at the other storage. And I thought that was, but it wasn't. There's 2 more storage bays. I'm assuming one is a generator. Leisure does the courtesy of attaching those outdoor bays with the slide, so it slides out. You don't have to crawl under. Now then, let's look at this OCC. Let's look at the stickers, and I'm going to tell you how much stuff you can carry in this Tiffin Wayfarer. So let's talk about that right now. Okay, you read that right, 780 pounds. Now, if you're new to this and you don't know if 780 pounds is good or bad, it's not good. I can tell you that right now. To put into comparison, my leisure travel van Unity that is built on the same exact Sprinter chassis as this Wayfarer, I have 1,502 pounds of cargo carrying capacity and occupants. Okay, that is double what this one has, basically. So then what does that mean? What is OCCC, what all does that include? So what it doesn't include is your fresh water, a full fuel tank, and propane are generally accounted for just in the chassis weight, right? So you don't have to worry about that. But everything else, such as a black tank and your gray tank, you do have to worry about. And in this particular unit, it's 28-gallon black, 33-gallon gray. So just those two, that weighs a little over 500 pounds. So add that 500 pounds and the driver and the passenger, you're overweight, right? So you absolutely cannot leave a campsite with full fresh, full black, full gray, which happens sometimes. We do it, and drive it with a passenger and have stuff in it. It just can't be done according to federal law. Basically, the law says that's how much you can carry in this. And if you're overweight, you have an accident, you're liable. Insurance isn't even gonna touch you. And I'm just telling you, it's gonna be a bad thing. So therefore, I just cannot recommend a Tiffin Wayfarer. And besides, the depreciation looked pretty bad, right? So you can get a 2020. Mine's a 2020, my leisure travel van, and right now I can get more than I paid for my leisure travel van. Leisure travel vans actually appreciate. Of course, part of that's due to the demand. But this, you take a big hit as well. But at the end of the day, I just say get started today. I hate for anybody to sit there and wait for, if you're going to order a leisure travel van and wait 2 to 3 years and just sit there twiddling your thumbs waiting. I still say, go find a used leisure travel van, or really do your homework and maybe find a canceled order that is popping up more and more these days, because LTVs have gone up. I mean, significantly. They're about $50,000 more than when I purchased mine in 2020, right? So some people don't want to pay that. They ordered them at the price they thought was going to be $50,000 less, and now they're this much. So you can find canceled orders, buy a used one. Or look at some of those other brands, Airstream, Atlas, and those are expensive, but they will hold their value a little more because they do say Airstream on them. And then that Winnebago Echo, I was very impressed with. Really cool, and that's on the Ford Transit. So it's a gas model as well. So there are other options out there. I just say skip the Tiffin Wayfarer. But anyway, so if this is your first time on the channel and you came here because of Tiffin Wayfarer and I just burst your bubble, I apologize about that, but hit the subscribe button anyway and the old thumbs up, right? Don't do the thumbs down. I don't like that. Do the thumbs up. So anyway, I just helped you avoid a disaster. So thumbs up, right? So anyway, but yeah, please subscribe to this channel because we're always talking about RV gear, gadgets, all kinds of things, travel, all kinds of fun things. We've got some cool electric e-bike reviews coming up from Aventon and from Magicycle. And so if you're into e-bikes, I'll be recommending one for RV travel coming up. But yeah, just hit that subscribe button and I'll let you know whenever I put out a video. But with that said, I will see you next time.